Hello and welcome to Productivity and Procrastination. I'm Joe.
I'm James.
And James is a little quiet.
Am I?
Yeah.
Uh, how about now?
A little bit better.
Got a little better?
Yeah, much better. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
different microphone, so
Different microphone, different life. Um,
yeah.
this is Productivity and Procrastination. We're a couple of procrastinators looking to get productive. And this is our journey in doing that.
Yes. It is.
Well, James, how was your week?
My week.
Mm-hmm.
My week was very up and down. Some very good ups and some low can get downs. Um, so, um, well, let's see. I'll just start with the lows so we can just get that kind of out of the way. So I don't want to bring down the whole podcast kind of stuff. Um, Thursday, my brother-in-law died. Uh,
Oh,
so
jeez.
that was a real crappy scenario. Yeah, my sister called me and in the moment of them delivering adrenaline and CPR, like right there. Um, so yeah, he was a great guy, real great guy. I'm really happy for both of them. They had some, but
That's crazy.
um, yeah, he just had a heart stent uh, thing in a few days ago, and he was home recovering, and just suddenly had a heart attack, and he was a few weeks older than me, um, and so yeah, great guy. I really enjoyed talking to him, and yeah, really unexpected, and so that kind of changed everything that at the end of the week there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the last few days have just been kind of just hanging around with family,
Yeah.
just you know, doing that. Um, it's made me have to, think about life a lot. Um, you know, and about what we do, what how much time you spend doing it, that kind of stuff. Um, but my sister's doing good. I'm really proud of her. And yeah, they had been together for a long time, and their marriage was really rocky at first, and but they pulled it together, and for years they've been just like the comeback story of the year kind of life, and just so it was great. But anyway, so yeah, that was uh that was hard, you know. But for the first part of the week, things were good. I got a lot done.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, as soon as we got done with the last week's podcast, me and Heather just went right into a shoot that day, and we shot like a lot of stuff for her, and then that next day, so I didn't have much time, but I decided, well, I have this spot, in my room that's like my dump off spot of like everything, like change all this crap just constantly. So I cleaned all of that, um, fixed all that, and looks perfect now. I've been trying to maintain it. That's the thing is I would always clean it off, once every you know year, and but it would always just become the trash spot for me again, and
Right.
I determined that I wasn't going to let that happen anymore. I was going to be known for having a clean spot, so my
Mm-hmm.
wife wouldn't have to deal with that. So like this morning, I was like I was tempted. I just threw my keys up there, and I was like it was the only thing up there, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna take the time and move it over to this area over here where it was nice and
Yeah.
looked good. And so I'm maintaining it. I like that. Let's see. Then on Wednesday, I've had I have this really awesome mailbox in my garage
Mm-hmm.
since 2020. It was going to be the project because I had like a year off. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a mailbox. It's gonna be an awesome locking mailbox because people steal stuff from mail. All these things, and so I bought this mailbox. Been sitting in there forever, and it's like the sum of my situation. It was always like the thing that I knew would take some time, but I'll always do it later.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time I pulled that thing out, and I figured out what everything I need. And I went to the stores that I needed to buy all the things, and I went home and I made that thing work, and it was a pain in the butt, I'll tell you. But I got that thing on. It's great. It looks nice, awesome, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, it's like every moment you stare at something like that, you're walking into the garage, you see it, you have to think about it, you have to move it sometimes to get to other crap. Um, it just becomes a symbol of the stuff you haven't done, and
Mm-hmm.
years it just sat there, and I was always like, oh yeah, I'll do it in the spring or summer or whenever it gets. There's always an excuse, but this time I did it, and I made it work, and it's gone now. And I didn't even keep the old one. My wife was like, "Well, what if we move?" We're like, "Well, let's slap the old one, take the nice one." I'm like, "No, I'll buy a new one. I don't care. I'm not gonna take a mailbox out of my spot and then put another mailbox in its place. Forget it. It's done. I'm throwing it away. I'm gonna be happy to."
Yeah.
So I did that. Um, so that was nice. And then um, Thursday, I had to go to my dad's. I went to my dad's, and so then, um, but on Friday, I did shoot. Um, it was good to do something besides just sit there and think about the Thursday night scenario. Just to
Mm-hmm.
keep yourself busy. So we poured ourselves into my shoot this time, and we did most of it. Um, I have like 10 sets that I need to do, and each one is basically like a new shoot. So we did six. That was like a lot of work, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
hours, and so it's mostly done, but I still need to do a little bit more and to complete it because the way I'm doing my thing is it takes you can't just put up what you've done. You have to have so many before because I'm bundling everything together into sets. So I need to have so many sets before I can actually put out one thing. Um, it's just like a thing that I came up with that I want to do. Um, but we did a lot of work and it felt good. And each day it felt really good to just work on my life and on getting business going on. And then by the end of the week, I did we basically just played games the last few days, just to kind of be together um and I have to think about how much how much work am I going to do and how much do I spend time with people, you know, that are important to me, you know. And there are a lot of people I that are important to me, but I haven't made any time for. You know, you just always kind of are like, "Oh yeah, well, they know, right?" You know,
Hmm.
but they meant not, you know. And so, I've had to think about that lately. It's like how much, would it really hurt me to throw out, a message here and there? Would it really hurt me to lift up a phone and, give them a call? Um, so I'm going to be thinking about that a little bit this week and, um, find a way to still be productive, still get the things I want done, but maybe take a little bit out of some of the other stuff and balance a little bit more family and friends just to patch up some of the deficiencies that I've allowed over the years. So that's my week.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a very up and down week, James. That's it's always hard when someone passes.
Yeah.
Um, my week was it started out really strong. Um, I was able to wake up really early on Tuesday before work, like 2 hours before work, and man, it was like the most productive I've ever been in 2 hours in my life.
Oh,
It was
nice.
incredible. Like I got so much of a drawing done, and it felt so good. Sorry, allergies are kicking. Um, but then I tried to do the same thing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And like, sure, I woke up a little bit early on Wednesday, and then I think again on Friday. But it was hard getting up early, even though I went to bed at a decent time. But it's something that I'm just gonna keep working on this week, trying to make sure that I get up early. Cause yeah, I need to. With the amount of productivity I have in those mornings, it was incredible. Like I cannot understate how much I loved getting up early and getting stuff done before work. It made the entire workday way easier, just like mentally. And then I felt so satisfied with how much work I got done that day. And then I got to think about it all day while at work. And so, like, I'm also like fixing up any mistakes that I think in my head because I just have it setting on my computer and I'm looking at it.
What must have missed. Okay, the first day of the week you were able to accomplish that and it
Yes.
worked well. You went to bed early or tried to go to bed early, and but what? Where is it? Just like practice, like you getting your routine in, like your
Yeah, I
circadian
think it's a
rhythm. Like
routine
what?
thing.
What is
I
it?
think it's yeah, circadian rhythm slash routine. I'm having issues getting up at 6, even though like I made the conscious effort to go to bed at I think either 8 or 10 almost every single night. Um, I still had issues getting up, and I think part of it was because I was fasting on a couple of those days as well, and so I think I got a little bit more sleepy, like was more tired.
Ah,
Um,
yes. Yeah, you might
so
want to hold off on that until you get into a rhythm,
yeah,
and yeah, it could make it a lot harder.
yeah,
Did
maybe I
you
should.
did you like what's the current state of your how it feels like today? Did you go to bed early last night? Did
No,
you
last night I ended up staying up late.
Okay.
But it's the only night that I did.
Okay. Okay. So,
I want my circadian rhythm to be waking up at 6 a.m. That's the goal because I want that to be my magical like okay, I'm up 2 hours before well actually it's 5:30 because I want 30 minutes of like waking up before actual 6 hits because I want to work from 6 to 8.
mm,
Cuz I don't want anything to get in the way of my 2 hours of just delicious time of working and it's I'm very excited about it. I'm excited to see how much work I can get done because like it's frustrating. Yesterday, I woke up and I was like, oh, finally I get to work on it, and I started working on it from like 8 because I woke up at 8 and I started working on it from 8 to 10, and then I got a message and I was like, okay, cool, what's going on? And I checked it, and it was someone asking me to do some D&D or do the D&D that I typically have on Sundays. And I was like, dang it. I was frustrated because then I was like D&D into helping my brother with a thing, into one other thing, and then I came home and it's fucking 7 p.m. and I'm like, oh well, great.
yeah, that's that's how days off feel sometimes, right? It's like it's like you never really get started until like 7 p.m. and then it's like by then you just don't feel like the same.
Yeah, I feel mentally exhausted. Well, not as much mentally exhausted. It's just like, ugh, it's done.
Yeah, the drive is gone.
Yeah.
It is vastly different.
Yeah. I was diving into it and I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. And then I completely forgot that I had D&D on Sundays. And I'm like, oh, okay. Dang it. I was like actively frustrated. I was like, "Ugh." I noticed this like trend of like leave me alone, let me draw. Which is it's not something that I've felt a lot. So,
Well, you might be frustrated because, once you find something that works in your mind, it can be a little frustrating interfering with that. And the mind, just goes, this is the solution. Don't interfere, And so, yeah, it can be
yeah.
a little frustrating. I can see that. Um, I guess what I'd have to say is that it can be schedules can take a little bit of time to change around.
Yeah. It just means I need to wake up earlier on Sundays. So that way I feel more accomplished cuz from I think from 6 to 10 I would be more satisfied with the day cuz it's a weekend. I mean, I got and then I maybe if I'm not busy that day I can do because if I'm not busy after D&D, I can do like more. But
So there was that first day of the week. that you did that. It must have been like Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah, it
And
was
then you
Tuesday.
just had like some struggles getting up, and when you did get up, you weren't able to like it just didn't feel
No, I
the
did
same
draw.
or
I did draw. It was just I wasn't as awake and coherent on those days. It was like it just wasn't the same. Like it was either like I'd wake up. So I think Wednesday I woke up. I drew for an hour and a half, and then I went back to sleep for a few hours because I was so tired. And then I woke up, and then I went to work. And then Thursday, I don't think I did any drawing in the morning because I couldn't get myself out of bed until basically it was work time. And then Friday, I believe I did like a half an hour. And then Saturday, I didn't do any drawing in the morning, but I did drawing, just like drawing, sketching my journal, working on like scales for what I'm working on. Like just at work, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to draw the scales. So it's not like I'm not working while I'm at work too, but it's not nearly as productive.
and so your days off, you know, why did you choose not to get up early and draw those days?
So I did yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yesterday was my day off. I woke up early. I started drawing from 8 to 10, and then I ended up having D&D, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I must have assumed that it was. I thought it interrupted you from working in general. Okay, so you did get some work in that day. All right. I guess my first thoughts would be, in order for to change your schedule like that, you almost have to do it like as many days as possible. If
Yeah, and
I
that's
don't
the
know if
plan. Is like
do you
every
stay
single
up
day.
late on like is there a time that you stay up late like on your weekend or the day before your weekend to
So the
be
intent is
with
not to,
uh-huh.
because for me it's more like I don't care about staying up late on my weekends because I'd rather have a set schedule that I'm waking up
Okay.
early and doing my stuff. Like I don't
So
care
you
about
don't
staying.
so you don't have a engagement that you have planned every weekend night
No,
or every that
no.
period. Okay. So that's good. So you can easily then get into a routine over time.
Well, that and
That's
like I
good.
have things planned in the morning. So like I have this Monday mornings on my weekend, and then I have D&D at 10. So like there's no reason to stay up late. I'm just shooting myself in the foot.
That's good. That'll help. Well, awesome. Yeah, the more then you can get into a routine and do it consistently. Um, I mean, it sounds like the first day it was very, very
Oh
productive.
yeah.
So,
So good. I'm excited to do it again. I'm excited to get that same level. Like I need to get comfortable in the routine so that I'm waking up like not groggy. Like even on nights where I was like I give myself 10 hours, I was like but to be fair, those were fasting nights. I woke up and I was like, ugh. And maybe I ended up oversleeping, but
mm,
I just need to get, I think, used to back to waking up that early. And
yeah, I like to think of things as introducing one variable at a time. So like I I would say maybe this week lay off fasting if let your body just understand the routine if you can really nail that down. If you can't, it doesn't matter what you do. But if you can, let one variable change at a time and then introduce
okay,
other aspects
yeah,
once you've nailed down the schedule a little bit more consistently. Um, So, and then report on how that's going. Um, I would think that the more the pattern sets in, the body understands this is my pattern. The more awake you're going to be early in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is like I need to get my brain used to waking up at 5:36, and then that'll just be when it wakes up. Especially if I can make it a daily thing.
yeah, I would try to do it every single day this next week, and
Yeah,
even on your days off,
yeah,
um, until you feel like it feels like almost a natural thing. Um,
yeah. Because if I can just get sleepy when it's about time for sleep, and then just let that. Basically, the plan is to go to bed at 8, wake up at 6, and that gives me a full 10 hours. And if I end up using all of it, awesome. If I don't, I'm gonna wake up extra early and be able to draw more. So
for me, I've been pretty consistent with going to bed around 1. Like, I'll go to bed, but I'll maybe watch a video or something for up to an hour, you know. So between 1 and 2 is usually when I fall asleep. Because of that consistency, there might be a random day in the last month where I stayed extra late, maybe like a 3 or a 4 even.
mm-hmm.
Um, but if I did, it was only like one day. And so I've been consistently feeling like I can get up pretty consistently 8 to 9:30 each morning no matter what. Um, and because of that, I think that even on the nights where I would stay up a little later, my body still like wakes me up in that morning time, and it's like, well, aren't you ready to go? I know you're a little tired, but this is the time to wake up. So
Right.
so uh so it still keeps me in check. And then maybe that next night I go to bed a little earlier. I take a nap here and there. Um, so yeah, consistency I think will definitely do it for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm excited about it. This next week, I think I should see some more real progress, at least as far as drawing and getting up on time.
then
But yeah, I'm excited about this new progress. I do want to talk about this Habitica app again. It's actually been pretty helpful. Um, it's not sponsored, but you have a little person and you have a health bar, and your health bar goes down when you do not complete your daily task. This is a habit and not a daily task. My daily tasks are currently right here: stay in budget and draw daily. If I don't complete those during a day, I lose health. And you can pick how difficult things are. And when you complete them, you actually fight monsters. And you get like little pets and icons and stuff. And it's a completely free app. And I think it's really good, especially if you fight monsters with friends, because then you're working together with friends to take down monsters. And like there's classes where you can be like a rogue, a healer, a mage, a warrior. I think it's a good accountability app. Just if anyone's looking for something to try out.
yeah, it sounds like something like that could be really good if there was a lot of little things that you wanted to initiate. Um, the big things you probably shouldn't have to keep reminding yourself about, but um, new things you want to initiate, that sounds like it would be really nice for
Yeah.
something like that. Um, when I did the photo shoot with Heather on Friday, um, we basically were doing it all day. I mean, we did it from, I think we worked on it 11 hours straight. So,
Jeez.
and during that, I mean, we were talking a little bit about, like how much to work on something, and she's a person who has worked a lot, on her business. And so I was talking to her about, my current mentality. I'm like, just dive in, and I just want to, She's like, well, that's a lot of this of the kind of things that I do, because for her, uh, she was like, because working on it for, a few hours each day wouldn't cut it for a business, like for your own business, personal business. She's like, I could I could never work for just a short period of time and still have a successful business. So I think it does matter that I have a different um, kind of a mindset, because I know what it takes. I do watch, our business that we have, and realize how much hours, she puts in. And it's like, yeah, to if you really want to be successful in, an endeavor, it well, I guess it just always depends on how long you want it to get up too. But if you wanted to get something up real quick, like I do, um, it basically is going to take days of working like as much as you can, and hence the 11 hours. I mean, we all day, that's all that we did was shoot. Um, and we're still not done. But the quantity of time that it actually takes, and that depends also on what you're doing. With us, it's like the setup can take 2 hours, setting up the lights right, getting
Mm-hmm.
getting everything the right angles, and the all of
Yeah,
that can take 2 hours.
that's what
Um,
taking cleaning up the face on one of my drawings took.
there you go. There you go. So it's like it depends on the output you want to go, and sh- you know, when you're getting started, and I would consider you as business wise getting started.
Mm-hmm.
When you're getting started, you're still figuring out your process, honing down a work flow, all of that, really nailing that down, because that isn't just something you do now. You're not just like, oh. While you're in that phase, do what you need to do, however long you do. Rest whenever you need to. It's a lot of brain work too.
Yeah.
But there is going to come a time and where you basically, you know, depending on the output you want and the pricing that you're looking for and all those things that need to happen, when you really think of it as a business later on, I I I believe what you're going to find is you're going to have to transition to as much as I can mode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that may be a difference just because of, I have kind of a little bit of experience in what it takes to actually, get something going where you're making consistent money from it, and
Right.
how many hours that takes. Um, it's not like you'll need to do that forever. There's going to come a time when you're going to get in your businesses set up, and you know how you're selling things, and the flow of how you want these products to go out, and how those pricings work with that. And then you can relax a little bit. We can relax a little bit if we wanted to. Um, but anyway, I just wanted to prepare your mind a little bit for the difference in mentality, um, when you're looking at it as a business versus when you're kind of working to establish the business. So, I don't know if that means
Yeah,
anything to you
no,
right now,
I
but
think there's some logic there for sure. Um, I think that transition should happen pretty naturally, especially once financial compensation starts to roll in. I'll see a path forward.
right.
But yeah, I think right now it is a big focus on workflow, and I think workflow is the biggest hurdle right now, and then shoring up some skills that I might be missing, which I'll pick up through just doing illustrations.
Yeah, and along with that, eventually maybe a style will come into play. You know,
Yeah,
like, oh, I love going with this kind of a
yeah,
way of, what sets me apart from other people.
yeah,
Like maybe even the lighting that you use could set
yeah.
you apart, you know. Um, but yeah, nailing down that routine and then letting it become just what is natural to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't have to take a long time, but it's going to take longer than it's not going to be in a week probably.
No.
But I would encourage you. It sounds like maybe there was like 2 days where you worked really well
Yeah.
at it. Um, I think that will naturally increase, and I think you should want to have that increase this next
Oh
week.
yeah.
And along with that, that'll help reinforce when you go to bed and the mental state at which you know will reinforce going to bed at night too. So
Yeah. It's nice waking up and not going to work right away and working on something that's important to me.
you said you wanted to get up at 5:30. When does your actual work start?
8.
8. Okay. All right. And you go to bed when?
The plan is to go to bed at around 8.
Okay. Yeah. I would think that you'd be able to do that pretty consistently over time. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
That is enough time. So,
Yeah, that's the plan is to go to bed at 8 and then wake up at
it's
five
hard
thirty,
to go
five
to
forty
bed at
five.
8.
It
That's got to be
is.
hard.
It is challenging, but it's
Um,
like
you know,
on
do you think you could change your schedule after a while
my
to
work
work
schedule.
more? Yeah, to work more later in the afternoon.
Maybe.
I mean, not that I am the master of schedules or anything, but I absolutely avoided working in my life swing shift until I had to, kind of, or till it was an option lately. So for the last 6 months, I have worked 2 to 11. Dude, perfect schedule. I don't
It
even
would
care what I
be.
used to think.
The reason why I can't do that schedule is a lot of the times that's when my stuff that I do with my like the people that are important to me, that's when
And
that stuff is
so
scheduled.
your days off would, yeah, and it's not enough probably. So, and there's never a day where in the morning time bef- would work out for doing things with these people.
No, they have jobs.
And their normal jobs. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that's off the table. Just figured I'd ask because, man, it's nice having a chunk of time,
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 hours before I work. There's just a block of time for me to do it all. But Okay, well then you're just gonna have to get to a point where you don't need your job as much.
Exactly.
So there
I
you
mean, if
go.
I'm dumping 2 hours a day, like all week, that's 14 hours a week into just illustrations. I should be theoretically, because typically illustrations, once you get going, once you get your workflow down, theoretically, illustrations should take you about 10 to 12 hours.
Okay,
And so
so
I
you
should be able to
pump
pump
out
one out a
one of
day.
those
Or sorry, one a week, yeah.
a week, yeah. And you
And if
know,
I've gotten 52 illustrations a week or a year, like
right.
that's a lot.
And assuming that you're digitally doing these things and you can
Yeah.
digitally sell these things
Yeah.
not as just one-offs, but
Right.
digital, that is that is great.
Yeah.
And I think that's right on. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where it's at for me is
So what is stopping you? Thinking it as a business perspective, kind of like I always do.
mhm.
Um, I guess, and I maybe inferred this in the past, but right now you don't have your workflow 100%, right?
Correct.
But there is up to a certain point that you do. Like you got the sketchy, shady thing going on pretty damn well, I would imagine right now, right? Like basically like, that kind of thing, right? In my mind, I'm like, okay, he's got that nailed down. Maybe he doesn't have his full workflow going on yet. So there's like, but you can take advantage of having the sketchy scenario pat because there are certain genres and certain looks that look best in that as the final rendering. Why not still work on your larger workflow thing, but each week or maybe even just say each 2 weeks have a mindset to create a sketchy, maybe like, darker, I don't know, whatever would work well in a sketchy kind of scenario as an actual end product to, while you're working on the workflow, still have that in mind and then have that thing be done eventually
Mhm.
and be putting that onto, products or whatever, alongside what you're doing. Potentially kind of kickstarting, the monetization thing and all the aspects of business building and all that do take a lot of time, a lot longer than you want them to. Um, alongside, what do you think about that?
So, run me through that again cuz I'm trying to visualize it in my head.
Okay, Final Fantasy 1.
Mhm.
You're in the crappy, swampy lair that everyone hates with all their being in the lower levels. There are those wraith bastards in
Ugh.
there that darken you all the time. They're pretty damn sketchy looking. And they're dark and, if I had like a picture of something like that on a mug or on a shirt, whatever.
Mhm.
You your art right now, you could do something like that and it would be a finished product. You wouldn't have to worry about final rendering of some beautiful colorization. No, you could just do that in a sketchy final rendition. That's what I'm talking about. Coming up with something that would work in what you know fully right now, something that doesn't even take the full workflow. Making that a final product and working with that alongside working on the whole process that you want to for more complex rendering in the future and more complex scenes and all that.
Mhm.
So that you can start to get a taste of the business side alongside with maybe even making sales, taking commissions, various types of things that can start to move your mind along with that process. Does that kind of
Yeah,
make sense?
that's something I could definitely do, and that might be something I might play around with while I'm at work because it takes a lot less brain power and more just doodling. It might be something nice that I could do at work. Just set up my tablet to this monitor over here and just play around with it. Cause yeah, that's something I could do. And I'm not gonna say no to like another avenue of creation. Cause heck yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Nice.
Just
And
kind of just like doodle little some sketches and play around with things until I
right.
find something I like, and then maybe just flesh it out a little bit, and then
Yeah,
that's it.
and when you get like a final product, shoot it over to me. I'll throw it on a mug mock-up or something and throw it back, and you can kind of see what it would look like on as a product. Um, and you never know. You know, you might start something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway,
Yeah. No, I'll have to try that out this week. That's kind of exciting. Just another way of creation that's a little bit more free form, a little bit more relaxed. Because I do love my illustrations, but yeah, if I could just pump out little sketches and little drawings like that, that'd be cool too.
yeah. As well, I'll talk to that aspect off of the podcast, so I don't, because that's really not exciting to talk about, but it might just help you out. So it sounds like you're on the right track. It sounds like we're both on the right track.
Yeah.
I am kind of in the mode of I want to change my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am changing it a piece at a time right now. I'm trying to make it so that every day I work on something, an aspect of myself, either something that is physically around me, that is just something I have neglected, work in a as voraciously as I can when I can. And yet also taking in the new aspect of, hey, people are important to me too, and I need
Yeah.
to just not be 100% unavailable for my life.
Yeah.
Because you don't regret, you know, anything but what you didn't say and what time you didn't use,
Yeah.
So I would imagine that that's going to come into play a little bit in my life more. It's on my mind, so I want it to shape me a little bit. So yeah, I mean, if there's something I could say to people right now, it's take the 5 minutes to just say things that you think don't really matter, but just say them, Anyway, and you, man, I can see it. I can see you have the potential to do a lot with this. I just want you to realize that there are, in art, there are different phases and there are different levels, and some of those sketchy things can look really good with certain products. You can do that. right now, then do it. Make a business from that and bring in the other stuff that you really want later on. Almost as like you want that because you want it. Like it's something you want. Well, great. But monetize what you've already worked on right now as well. And make some time to use that. And utilize people like my family who may be able to help you along in that business side of it, and note that it's not, you know, doing things like Etsy. Everybody wants the answer of, oh yeah, you can work on it for 20 minutes and you got a business and making money, dude. It is not that. It is, if you want this to be a business, you've got to be in the business mindset. You have to put in the time and you have to realize that there are 8 billion people on the planet, and 8 billion people have heard that you can make thousands of dollars doing nothing, and and that's it. And that's not the case. It's the people working hard who are going to do it. So I want that for you. I want that for you. So
Yeah.
anyway.
I look forward to I look forward to getting some stuff done, getting some things out there. Like, I mean, we've only got like 2 things up on Etsy right now, and that is a piddly amount. I need a lot more. Um, but yeah, I mean, doing some little sketches and just cleaning them up a little bit and making them look nice is very within my wheelhouse. Um, and then, but I want to have that as a side thing because I want my 2 hours in the morning to be focused primarily on my illustrations, because to me that's where the excitement lies. That's where the to me that's the final dream. Like that's where it's at for me, is making those illustrations, making worlds that people want to get lost in.
Well then, you have a dream. That's where it all begins.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts for today?
No, I don't. Oh my gosh. I expected to look over and see it was 30 minutes. Apparently we've been at this for about an hour now. Um, it's exciting. I'm excited for this week. I'm excited to see how much I get done this week, because I already feel like okay, so my biggest issue for a while was I want to get illustrations done, but I don't know how. And I don't have the time. I don't make the time. I finally have the time. And so now I can get them done. It's been such a frustration for me. Because, I mean, realistically, if I can make enough illustrations that I'm, like, really satisfied in the creation process, and I can start, doing one a week, which I granted is it might take me a while to get to that point where I'm doing one a week.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I'm not expecting, oh, I've done one, now I'm doing one a week now. No, it might take me even a year or two before I can do one a week. And I'm fine with that. As long as I'm still creating illustrations and putting them out. Like, if I get out one a month, I'd be happy. And it's just exciting to finally be putting out illustrations, and because those illustrations can go in a portfolio, and even if I don't make any money from Etsy, if I can get a good enough portfolio, I can work as an artist somewhere else. Like for a games company, for people who need artists for all sorts of things. And so there's also that avenue I can consider too, because if if I can get paid to be an artist to hone my craft, yes. The answer is a resounding yes. So, it's not just it covers a lot of avenues. I also plan on setting up a Patreon, which will be fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm just excited. I'm just optimistic, hopeful. It's nice seeing a path forward.
Yeah, make those time periods compound and get into a pattern where, eventually it's basically automatic, and you will see those results fast. I imagine, you know, you're always that person who wants to learn and grow. So then the formula is time
Yep.
and opportunity. We'll make those opportunities. You now have a time frame. Now you just need those opportunities, and I have no doubt that you will figure it out.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Well then, is there anything you want to add before we close it out, Yams? All right. Well then, thank you very much for listening. This has been Productivity and Procrastination, and just remember, uh, be kind to others. Okay. Bye.